Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rich Taylor. This is By the Dip, episode number 20.1. I'm here with my co-host Aaron Yee. Let's go and let's get it rolling. How you doing, Aaron?
Pretty good. Chilling, having fun, ready to, rock it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, me too. Work and we have some pickups to show at the end. I'm gonna do just a quick unboxing, and then Aaron's gonna show some really cool stuff. Real hot topic we had over on the House of Stein original Hot 10 comic show on Friday throughout the weekend into today. So I can't wait till we get to that and Aaron can show off what he has acquired.
here, I'll give a little hint so I don't have to show
Okay,
this later.
cool.
So if you recognize this,
Ooh.
I'll give you that hint.
All right, stay tuned. All right, let's go ahead and get into the intros and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Double click the notification bell to all so you don't miss any of the really cool content we have planned forthwith. Leave us a comment. We try our best to get to the comment as fast as we can. And if you want to share, go ahead and tag SSPEC Media, Spec Media with 2 S's. And don't forget, pay the bills, as TiVo would say. Gemini, wait, before I have to show Aaron this. Celebrate.
I just want to remind people to do the thumbs up, right?
That's right, the thumbs up. I wish I could do it. I can never do it.
Oh, I found out from Carter. So if you have an Intel chip on your MacBook, then your computer won't be able to do it.
Okay, I don't have an Intel chip. I don't think.
Do you have like the? Okay, well,
I have that the actual because I remember that I had that option. Yeah.
Okay, anyways, we'll figure it out after.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll let Aaron to figure it out. Okay, and then make sure you guys are using Gemini Comic Supply for your slab mailers. Any kind of literature, magazine, comic book. Use the code Popcorn99 for 10% off. You can also share a code with your friend. SSP99, like super short print 99. You'll get 10% off each Gemini Comic Supply order. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. But before I do, I did promise Mikey, a.k.a. Funhouse Comics, that I'd jump right into the chat. And he wants me to start doing that right away. So I'll go ahead and let him give me some pointers. Appreciate you, Mikey. Love you, bro. Righteous Flipper says, hey, huzzah, what's up? And
no,
then,
it's huzzah!
Huzzah! There you go. Your boy, the alien, what up? He says, cheers. Thank you very much. Mojo Quid is in the house. Appreciate it. He said, what's happening, peeps? Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into the list. We're going to go ahead and remind you guys, Aaron and I are co-hosts on the House of Stein original Hot 10 show. We have 4 lists on that show. Make sure you tune in to, make sure you subscribe to the House of Stein YouTube channel. Awesome channel. Awesome guy owns the channel, Ben Stein. If you don't know him, once you do, you'll be stoked. You'll thank me later. We have 4 lists every Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have a really nice crew, real tight crew, and some real fun stuff. So we're going to go ahead and review the By the Dip list from that last Friday. That is Aaron's data, or I wouldn't say data, but Aaron's picks. Aaron literally just did the whole list last week except one book. I think Ben Stein did one book. So let's go ahead and start with Ben Stein's book. We're looking at new XMen issue number 128, the direct edition, CGC 98, your first appearance of Phantom X, among others. What's going on here, Aaron?
All right, so this book recently sold at a all-time low of $65, and its 90-day average is $97 right now. So the all-time high for this book for this year is $129. But in years past, let's see,
didn't we have a low on this one too, like $60 or something?
$65. Yeah, I said that right at the start.
Okay, my bad.
yeah, no worries. So anyways, last year the high for this book was $150 and the low was $79. About a total of 54 sales. This year we're just now hitting May, so about the halfway point. There's about 19 sales, so it's give or take. I guess we'd have to compare next year to see what it's doing. But
so let me ask you this, Aaron. Just to let you guys know, there are newsstand copies of this book. I would imagine the print run is pretty large on this one, so you probably be able to find a newsstand without typing in newsstand. Sometimes some sellers don't care; they just list it and they just let it go. If you're going to do it, look for a high grade. But anyways, Aaron, do you feel like okay? So I mentioned this on Friday. Key collector, shout out to key collector Nick. He had an awesome statement. Nick's picks list. He had a really good one last week. No complaints, but he actually put in a really cool comment. He said that he thought that if this character was adapted live action, he feels like this book would explode. And I kind of feel the same way in a sense, but I'm treading carefully. I want to know your opinion.
So if MCU is still taking on like female leads, like if they're still trying to find that crowd or win over that crowd, I guess. I don't think this is a bad character choice for them to explore down, especially since X-Men's right around the corner. When I was watching X-Men 97, I thought when I saw Jean Grey at the beginning, I mean, this is going to be spoilers for anyone that hasn't watched X-Men 97, but this is talking about the beginning. When I saw that Jean Grey was pregnant, like I was like, okay, is it going to go down the Nathan Summers story? Is it going to be Hope this time? Like, I don't know what this like creator's thinking for. And then I was like, and then by the time we got the reveal that it was Madeline Pryor, then it's like, okay. And then we already saw Cable by that point. It's kind of like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So it wouldn't surprise me if live action went down this path since they've already done the Cable situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it makes more sense to me. So, but yeah.
What's your opinion about 129, the first cover? So do you think you kind of have to do the sets?
I'm a firm believer that if you're going to get one, you might as well get the other, especially if there's a succession like that, 128, 129. And especially if you're building up a pile at like whatever, at a shop or at a con, then you can kind of like more so at a con, then you can like usually talk down or average out books. So you're not paying like $100 per book, that you're only paying like $10 per book now.
Interesting.
So that's the way I kind of try to save money at cons. Like if there's like
I'm sorry, go ahead. I mean
no, it's like if there's an expensive book on the wall I want, but then there's other books I want throughout their booth, then that's kind of how I try to like average it out or kind of work.
It's a good tip. It's a good tip. I mean, I honestly I wouldn't even think of something like that because I don't have the experience that Aaron does at cons. So that's interesting.
Man, that's just wheeling and dealing in life.
ABC always be closing. No,
hustling.
Yeah, exactly. So so 90. I checked the numbers after Ben submitted this. I thought this was a really, really good one. Interesting enough. And this book has had highs and lows, more highs actually than lows after the spec matured, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And right now I think that recent sale at the $63 or $65 that Aaron even pointed out last Friday, and Ben as well, I thought, and then averaging out around $90, $95, I think it might be a good opportunity to make a move on this book. That's just my personal opinion. You could wait, but I've seen highs in this book over $200. So,
and then I want to say I think this is the cover versus like I'm looking at the cover for 129. Like I always had this book ingrained into my head over the 129.
Oh, okay.
But I also like didn't look deep into Hope either at that point in time. Like that was always the book I remember seeing on the wall, not so much the 129.
You know what's funny is you've surprised me recently with your X-Men spec. I'm actually really surprised. You've pulled some pretty good ones.
About what?
Just your X-Men spec's been pretty good lately.
because I love X-Men. X-Men's like one of my favorite things in the world.
I don't remember
But
you. I don't remember ever talking to you about it.
see, I kind of like keep it in my back pocket for until
That's
I need
good.
it.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Right.
There you go.
You can't give away all your cornbread, right?
There you go. then you starve, right?
Right, exactly. It's like I like doing comics and talking about comics still, so I would like to continue.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We're looking at this is the 1 in 50 David Finch. We're looking at this book in a CGC 9/8 magic cover. This is the 2019 series. Pretty cool cover. We love magic. Aaron, what is going on with this book?
So this recently had a sale of for $111, and um like Richie said, it was a 1 in 50. And then earlier this year, this is actually kind of surprising. The book sold for 47.
Mm,
So, the 90-day average is $79. Uh, the 12-month average is 69. So it just kind of surprised me, like for a David Finch book,
mhm.
during that, like once hit a high of 225, and the year was
Yeah.
released in 2021.
Yeah.
For it to drop that much, right?
Right.
Especially being at 1 in 50. I get it's not one of those iconic David Finch covers. But it's still a unique art style versus like what we're typically seeing nowadays with like where it's over digital art, right?
Oh,
Overly,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a great point you just brought up. I was actually literally thinking that on Friday. Man, this is dope because it doesn't look so digitally or digitally
Right.
done, so to speak,
Right,
or so
exactly.
digital.
It's not over exaggerated in the digital aspect to it. And then like we were all saying, like I think we're all admirers of magic.
Oh yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah, so I mean, this is just like a great magic and sword cover, in my opinion.
So you have a what is it? Issue 18. I know we're in the pandemic when this released, and then it was first to market. But like, after the dust settles, I think this is a pretty good buy. But going back into it, you have an issue 18 on a 1 in 50. Sounds like to me that I could be completely wrong, but it sounds like to me the the publisher and distributor was really trying to sell some books, get some books ordered. So they put out this beauty. They knew that magic could attract buyers or orders. And but I just honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's that many out there. I haven't
But
seen this book until you brought. I
yeah,
mean, I've seen it. I remember it on release week, but I have not seen anybody talk about this book. And I don't mean like speculators. I don't ever see it. I don't ever see it I don't look for it on eBay. I don't see it on any retailer's websites, anything like that. And I look up a
yeah,
lot of David Finch and a lot of magic covers.
yeah. Uh, There's only 49 eights on the census.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that could play a factor into it.
Mhm.
Let me look up to see like what their total graded is,
Yeah, good.
because
Good
I
call.
have that pulled up anyways. There's only a total of 47 graded. Um, 5 of those are signature series, and then there's only a 9.4 and a 9.0
Oh,
that, that
wow.
that are floating out there. So
I mean, did you hear anything about damages? I mean, you know a lot about that distributor retail stuff.
what year is this? This is 2021. So I
Yeah,
mean,
released 2021.
so Random House would have existed by that point, I want to say.
Was it?
It's,
Yeah, I think it was right around then. I think it
it,
was right around then. Yeah.
like 21, 22. It was around the, I want to say they were around, so I wouldn't expect a lot of damages. Uh, I
Right.
mean, the only other thing I could think of is that if there's not like a ton of retailers doing variants for X-Men issue 18, that's probably also why there's not as many incentives floating out there.
There you go.
It
Yeah,
would
that's a
be
good
my
point.
assumption.
Yeah, I'm literally just spitballing here, trying to figure out why there's only 49 eighths of this gorgeous magic cover on the census, and we're now we're over 3 years since release.
And then you're also talking about it's still a Hickman story too.
Yeah,
So
and
I
it's
thought
a
that,
Hickman story. Exact. Good call on that one. Yes. I mean,
yeah.
that guy sells books by himself.
Right. Just him on the title, like that helps you out a ton, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I like this one. This is a good one. Righteous Flipper says desperation investment price is not going to hold. Interesting. All right, let's move on. We've had this book on here before. I know I'll probably get in the comments, so I'll just we're aware. But this is actually some news here. Aaron caught this. Good eye by Aaron. This is at a much, I wouldn't say much lower, but lower amount right now, the current average FMV than when we had this in. I believe it was around like episode 7, 8, or something like that. What's going on with this, Aaron? Besides the fact that we all know what key issue this is.
Yeah. So the last sale of this sold for 420, which is slightly above our 90-day average, which is 386. But I mean, we all know this book, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the 12-month average for this right now is at 594, so it's way below that still. And you know, this year the high is 500, the low is 375. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen like high sales of this book at $2,500. But if we're gonna exclude 2022 prices, the high was of last year was 1250.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
it,
sorry. Go
is
ahead.
it I was gonna ask, is it really just like based off of that like small mention of Amadeus Cho's mom being in the
Oh
Age of
yeah.
Ultron
Yeah.
movie? Like, is it just because of that small like glimmer of hope that we may see one day see a totally awesome Hulk, or is it just like I don't know, like to me that like when you get into like that level of if this happens and this happens and this happens, then we have our character. Like
Right.
that's it seems like a 1 in a million shot at that point, right?
Yeah, and it's funny that these prices are now where the 9.6s were for, I don't even know. It's so funny. But yeah, going back to your statement, so I mentioned this on the last one. I don't know if probably Aaron probably doesn't remember, but um, so before the writer strike, it was 2022 going into 2020. So it was right before the writer strike. There was an announcement for a confirmed project called Spider-Man Freshman Year, and it was an animation film, and
Mm.
it was supposed to be outside the MCU and Sonyverse continuity. Okay, it was supposed to be like a standalone deal. Amadeus Cho was one of the characters pictured in the collage on the actual announcement. So I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'll be honest with you. I've owned a lot of copies of this book. I don't own this book anymore. But long story short, I can't tell you for sure if this book bumped on that. But I remember that it wasn't really a big deal. There wasn't a lot of people talking about it. Then the writer's strike happened, and all this stuff has changed after. Now we're post writer's strike, and I just heard, maybe I think towards the end of March, that Spider-Man Freshman Year was still on. The whole thing is still on, but they were going to change
Oh,
the name from Freshman Year to something else, and it's animation.
okay. So it's still
Um,
slated to be made,
Still
basically.
slated to be made. So I don't know if Amadeus Cho is still planning on being in that little one shot, 2 hour and a half
Uh, I
movie, or if it's a series, whatever it was. But yeah, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
I was gonna say I assume they would still have the same, not necessarily cast, but at least like um, but at least their characters that they want to write about and talk about throughout the series already kind of set in stone. Like even though the title's changing, like I don't think they're gonna change too much of the plots that were already decided on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
dialogue is probably updated to reflect more of the times or whatever, but
Hmm.
that's the only thing I could see happening really.
So when I owned this book, I was just like knee deep in this thing. I mean, I had multiple copies, and I was just like always watching the market all through the pandemic. Hold. I'm looking at Comic-Con every day to see if they even edited the orders. I was a crackhead, right? So, anyways, long story short, I remember Comic-Con had the numbers around 20K estimated orders. So let's say 25K. Let's just say that's our number. But just to let you know, there are newsstands of this, which is basically, if you're not aware, is a fraction of that number. Especially in 2006, that's where you start getting the prime low numbers for newsstand. But yeah, I like this book long term. I think this is one that if you're a modern age key grail, modern age grail, I wouldn't say it's a grail, but I would say it's one of those keys where if you're into that, collecting and investing in modern keys, this is one that you definitely need to keep your eye on. Here's Eric Hurd. He says, I've always liked Cho and this book. I don't believe his mom would be in Age of Ultron, and then he never shows up. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
my counter argument then is, how do we get Cindy Moon in the first Spider-Man film, but no other hints of Silk? But even though it's like Silk is what, a Sony owned character?
Yeah, Sony owned character, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
does Sony own the Amazon MGM now? By the way, thanks, Eric. By the way, because I heard that Silk. I don't know if Silk's still happening, but before when we were doing it was like right when you got on the Hot 10. I remember we were talking about it, and Epix took over MGM. They had just took over MGM, and they said that Silk was going to be on MGM. I was wondering if Sony owned them.
But I think that's all changed as recently, right? Because of Madam Web, like tanking.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're completely rethinking what they're doing.
Yeah.
One would hope, right? By this point.
Yeah, for sure. Righteous Flipper says too many influencers bank on him appearing, and a lot is based on how many of these guys are holding in terms of issues. I agree on that with Yee. So many shows hoping for that. LOL, Richie. Yes. Oh, don't worry. I no longer own this book. I did sell mine. I did hold, and I did let go right at the right amount. But I did have to sell one copy during the dip, and I did get 200 for it raw. So I ended up making money on it. So I've already moved past this book. But I'll be honest with you, if I go digging, I'm always looking for this book.
Oh yeah, like it's always fun to look through this section of Amazing Fantasy. If your shop has a section for this, right? Especially since there's like new titles now with Amazing Fantasy. Like I mean, because like what I know we were big on speculating on what issues 7 and 9,
7 and 10, 7 and 10,
7 and 10. There we go.
Yeah. What was it? Vampire by Night, the female Nina, I forgot her name. We were real it's a long shot back to Flipside. Side. And then
I remember finding those at half price books, and I was so proud of myself.
yeah. That's awesome. You have a half price books out where you are? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do. I don't go there as often because one of the girls that works there, she used to work at a comic book shop. So so she knows what books to put in the lock cabinet, and then and so they're always used to, but there's like it's because like I remember seeing her at the comic shop, so anything until a certain point she knows about, like from 2020 and on, it's kind of free game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a small window, but then like but also anything that picks up in spec wise too, like is within that window as well. So if a book gets hot, like she may know what that book is, but is not paying attention to what's currently happening in the market.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
good call. You're gonna have to introduce me sometime. No, I wish they used to have a website. Do they not have the website anymore? I used to see the website. I used to go there, and I used to see like they would have, it was so weird because I could find like ASM, Silver Age ASM, sometimes keys, but they'd be astronomically high in price. But then like you'd find one that was like a like an ASM 298 or something that was like super low in price. And it was like, whoa.
Well, because each store is pricing their books.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like a book that doesn't have any comic person in there working, they're not going to know or care. Like they're just going to price it at whatever. Versus someone that knows comics, they're going to probably price it wrong, probably give you the graded price.
Yeah.
Of what the condition is, and then try to sell it to you at the graded price.
Yeah.
But then you could pull a half price crook and talk them down from selling you an ASM 129 to like from like $500 to like $10 or whatever he did.
Shout out to Jessup, half price crook. What up, Jessup? Hope you're doing well, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. Haven't heard from you.
And then he pressed and cleaned it and to get it bump it up higher.
Yeah, he's a madman. He's a madman.
I mean, to be fair, that book was beaten to hell. Like, do you remember? You know which book I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because he sent us pictures of it, and it was fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like, excuse my language, but I want to say it was moldy and stuff like that. But he cleaned it, like, because he's a magician when it comes to pressing and cleaning.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, so he definitely like multiplied on that, which is awesome flip.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next book. We're looking at Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 33. This is the 1 in 25 retailer incentive by, how do I say his last name? Manahina?
I thought it was Manahini.
Manahini? Yeah, Manahini. This book was on the Hot 10. I want to say multiple times, but I talked to Ben and he said just one time. We could release. It was also like right around the same time. I want to say within like a few weeks of some kind of like Cross the Spiderverse or aka Into the Spiderverse 2 rumor news, because it hadn't been released yet. And people were just going crazy because, he had the new suit on and he had the Spiderverse, the actual like looking animation Spiderverse in the background. I love this cover. What's going on here, Aaron?
Yeah, so we hadn't seen any sales at all this year, and it's sold for $105. And then recently, another copy sold yesterday for $75. So it's still on the decline. So it's still currently declining. Yeah, overall, the highest prices ever recorded was $200. The lowest was $32, which I'm assuming that either the person had like ridiculously high shipping, or it actually didn't. That sale actually didn't go through, or whatever.
Maybe like a glitch.
Yeah, or someone ending an auction like at 3 a.m. or something like that
on a weekday. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like, and if you are up late at night, you don't have to list your item right then. You can schedule a time to list it.
Yep.
Like, so like especially if you're doing auctions, you can schedule it so it's not ending in the middle of the night. Just saying. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I love this cover. I don't remember anything going on in the Guts key, but there was so much minor key stuff going on with Miles Morales this whole volume.
Right.
I mean, literally, you could close your eyes and if every issue was against the wall and hit one, and there's something going on. And
it's kind of like Star Wars, right? Like, just pick every other Star Wars book. There's a first appearance in there.
yeah, and then you have to get actual real Star Wars speculators and fans and readers that will tell you this is a real big Star Wars book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, most of them there's like a first appearance in every other one. But long story short, yeah, going back into this one, yeah, I just love the cover. I know it was up. We were looking at raw copies at that time at Hot 10. Now they're, the majority of the ones that we're looking at right now, when we pulled data on our, all of them are CGC 98s. I didn't even pull the raw copies, but I know I checked a couple online retailers. My comic shop one, they have high grade copies for like $28. So just basically like $3 over ratio, and you don't even have to mess with eBay. So yeah, if you guys do like this cover, you could go to my comic shop. I didn't see it at Midtown. I did look some other ones, but they have, I think, like 5 copies right now for between $28.50, and then they have them marked as VF plus A5, and then they go down to, I think, like 7.0, and they're like $15 in case you want this raw. But yeah, this is a cool cover. Interesting enough. I don't know how I feel about this book ever rebounding, and like you said, as of today, even lower sale.
Yeah.
But most of this
But
stuff it's peaks and valleys, like the great Mel V says.
yeah.
What's up,
Uh,
Remo? How you doing, bro?
there's 65 9/8 on the census to give you a relative idea.
Oh, okay, that's a
There's a
good
total
number.
of 76 graded.
Wow, that's actually a
Oh,
good number. I didn't think
what?
I thought it'd be much higher. Okay,
Especially being a Miles Morales book too, as well. Like
yeah.
I would
Oh,
say, like despite like people not liking his costume, I see that comment, Mojo.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Mojo's
yeah,
like yeah, I was
is-
actually gonna highlight we got in the conversation. He said, "I
yeah,
hated this costume, I couldn't bring myself to buy it, LL." Yeah, 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 I felt it. It took a minute for it to grow on me until I wouldn't say this cover, it just kinda just grew on me, but I don't prefer
yeah.
this costume, that's for sure.
Right. Despite all that, though, like you could still argue that this is like one of the heights of Miles' popularity too.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I think
Like
so.
in terms of people reading his comics, watching his watching the movie,
Yeah.
watching playing the video game, like
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
multiple levels.
George of the Bay, thank you for the comment. Welcome. Thank you very much. He says, I think it was 2 years ago. I when I put Miles on my pull list, just took it off recently. Now it's just Batman. Oh, okay, good, nice.
So,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
some sneaky keys that just showed up. I could actually do a post or something. I could tell, or maybe do a video or a short. There's some sneaky keys that just showed up in this current run that you might want to. They're still selling for like cover price. I believe it's issue 11 and it's issue I want to say 6 or 7. I can't remember which one is, but yeah, I was talking about this on the Hot 10. They're sold out on the retailer level. I want to say 6, but it could be 7. I can't remember, but yeah, I don't blame you. I see why you would pull Miles off your list because like Aaron was saying, the orders just went through the roof. I mean, I could just tell you volume 4, I believe it's volume 4 or 5, 2019 series. This series we're talking about, all the way through the first ultimatum, right? When the Evil Miles becomes ultimatum, through that all the way into the clone series, like 17, 18, 19, into the second set of clones, right? Um, right before the clone series, I would say orders according to Comic-Con were between 28 and 35K. So a pretty average, moderate print book, like a 40,000 print book. And then all of a sudden, after the clone series, they just went up. So, I mean, I don't really put a lot of spec value on a lot of this later part of this run, but I do want to say there are a few little sneaky key issues in this current run that you need to keep your eye on. So, you have anything you wanted to add about this book, Aaron?
Definitely hitting my comic shop after this show. So sorry for people catching this on the rewind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw 5 of them. So, hopefully they're still there, and I love my comic shop.
Yeah, but if live chat eats them up, I understand as well. But fair warning, like whatever's left, I'm probably gonna buy if it's good enough price. But yeah,
Next time I'll
what's up,
text you.
Spider Hunter?
I'll text you.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
What up, Spidey Hunter? He said, "What's good, Dolan? Easy. Thank you, thank you." He loves this Miles cover as well. Yeah, we agree. We agree. All right, let's move on. Was a really interesting one that Aaron found. I'm really happy that he brought this to the forefront. So we're looking at Captain America issue number 1 from the 2018 series. This is just cover A. We're looking at
Yeah,
a 9/8 yellow label signature series with the MCU's live action former Captain America Chris Evans auto signature, and then there was also issue 2, right, Aaron?
yeah,
That
that's
we were
sold
gonna.
for the exact same price of like they both sold for $214 each. I think it was really like 213.70 something. If anyone cares to down to the penny, but like, anyways, you're spending that much money. Like, if you bought this, like, good on you. Like, you got a Captain America signature for way below than what it should have cost. because his last signings cost $305 per book. So that's his autograph, like encapsulating with CGC, all of that for one of the private signings.
Wow.
The copies that sold on this were like in 2018. Like some of the signatures were done in 2018, and I can't imagine it being that much cheaper to sign like 3 years later or earlier.
Right.
Like I was actually in 2018, I would assume the price is probably higher, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was at an all-time popular,
Yeah,
right?
like he's America's ass, right?
Right. That was when Infinity War was 2018, right?
Right, exactly. So like that's like that peak, right? That
Right.
they can ask literally anything and people will pay for it. But it just, you know, I guess as the amount of signatures also start to increase, and it also just proves that you can literally not just send in anything, like that if you actually took some thought and process to like what book you're getting signed, like it's depending on how well it did. Like I mean, you know, if even though that like most people probably don't like those photo variants or whatever, that's probably one of the better things to get
Yeah.
signed
Yeah.
by Chris Evans. Like especially since those are traditionally tough to get in high grades, especially with
Oh
like, you
yeah.
know, top and bottom being like all black.
Yep.
Um but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was we had actually had a conversation, like a short conversation backstage in the, I wouldn't say backstage, but in our House of Stein chat. And Stein brought up a good point. He was like, so basically what we're saying, well, no, he didn't say that. He said, so basically it looks like it matters what book it's on, right?
Yeah. Like
Rather
if
than
you're gonna
some,
pay for a signature series book, yeah, like actually think about like what you're buying. Like if you like this cover as your favorite all over Captain American cover, which, you know, I know plenty of Captain America fans, and I really doubt this is a top book on any of their lists.
yeah.
But
Yeah, this is issue 7. If you guys aren't aware, issue 7 is your first Daughters of Liberty. That's that run. But yeah, I think that does actually a great example and some advice. I guess go as far as say cornbread. Those photo variants, those are tough. And shout out to Longshort. I mean, he's been harping on those things since we were on Flipside, screaming from the rooftops. And this would be a perfect opportunity for those photo variants, where you could actually it adds desirability, you know, and adds appeal.
yeah,
And because it's not, I wouldn't say, well, I guess you could say nostalgia in a sense because it's already 5 years behind us, but I mean it brings back those memories, you know. And a lot of people, this is like a PC book in the sense, for a lot of
right.
people, even though people like us will probably want to, flip something like this and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting topic. And let me ask you this before we move on. Would you go as far, even though this book is down and it's just a cover A first print on probably a pretty massive print run, whatever?
Dollar book, you know.
Would you
All right.
would you consider this liquid a Chris Evans 98 SS on
Oh,
any cover like this?
what I consider, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Mhm.
Because I don't know how often these art or these celebrities signature series books pop up,
Yeah.
especially on the auction, right? Um, I just happened to catch like when I was looking at sales that there was a bunch of celebrity autographs all
Oh
ending at the same
wow.
time. So it was like it was all consignment uh from a from a seller on eBay. I won't say which person. So
Mhm.
uh
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, so it was a consignment sale, but then like they had all back to back like celebrity autographs on different comic books. Some did really well, others did like this where it was like what way below like probably where his auto should be at. Like
Mhm.
I even saw like Tom Holland like signature books. And then
Wow.
because you know how there's that Spider-Man book where it's a photo variant of him on the cover, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
they had that signature series book that
Nine
sold
eight.
for like 98 that sold for, I don't remember how much. I want to say it was around $500,
Okay.
maybe a little bit higher.
Okay.
So like, like we're all saying, it really does depend on what book it is that it's signed on. Because Joe was bringing up the point of the you could get the Captain America and Human Torch cover signed.
Oh yeah, that was
Uh,
great. Yeah.
yeah, and then we found that sale within this that sold for like $400 or something like
It was a
that.
5.0.
Uh,
It was a nice book, but you could tell around the edges it was beat up. Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
one. That was a good one, and that was the only one we saw though, right? That's the only one we could find. I think, right?
I think so. That
Yeah,
probably sold within the last 90 days or whatever.
yeah, and then it was either Ben or Red Hood. I can't remember which one, but uh, I can't remember. It was somebody that said when you think, oh, it was Ben. There's Ben. It's like when you think of Chris Evans, at least for me, I think of Captain America, MCU Captain America. And I was like, so we don't think Human Torch, even though he's coming back as Human Torch. You don't think it as Human Torch, so that's why it's so cool to
Well,
put those two together and get them signed both, because then you have both
oh,
sides of the
you hit the nostalgia of
yes,
both
exactly,
characters that he's played.
yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
so what everyone needs to do is get Brolin to sign a copy of Cable, a cover where Cable and Thanos are on
Oh, dude, you're just giving out cornbread, baby.
Yeah, but I can't think of a book they're on together.
Yeah,
So
that's hey, if you guys are watching Rewind or out there in the live chat, if you can find a book that has Cable and Thanos together, let us know. Let us know. That would be interesting to hear in the comments, and we'll talk about it on the next show. Cool, cool. Great idea, Aaron. Man, this guy is just full of $1 million ideas. I love it. All right, that was last week's original Hot 10 show on the House of Stein YouTube channel. Make sure you're subbed up to the House of Stein YouTube channel. Let's get into Buy the Dip episode number 20.1. This is Aaron and I's list for this week to round it about. And then we'll end the show with some pickups and let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening or go, get your rest for tomorrow. So, all right, let's get into number 5. We're looking at Amazing Spider-Man issue number 252. We're looking at both newsstands and direct raw copies, VF near mint or better. As you guys know, this is from 1984. This is one of the books that is arguably one of the important books or first books of the black suit. First appearance of Spider-Man in the black costume. This issue does predate Marvel Team Up 141 and Spectacular Spider-Man number 90 by 2 weeks. So we're looking at April 2023 on a 6-month average throughout October 2023. Sales were all over the place, to be frank with you. But average fair market value for raw copies, both newsstand and direct, $211. Okay. Now we go back into February of this year on the 90 day into this month, recent sales, because there were some couple high sales as well. We're looking at $134 fair market value, which is a pretty significant drop. Aaron, let me ask you this. Do you like this book for the black suit stuff for Secret Wars? And do you see this book rebounding because of that?
um I love this book, to be completely honest. Like,
Yeah,
I
me too.
call the Spider-Man Trinity like the black suit books. Like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you would have to collect like what, ASM 300, 252, Secret Wars 8, Marvel Team Up 141, Spectacular Spider-Man 90. Yeah, so that's my black suit Spider Trinity or whatever.
Mm,
Or it's more than a
cool.
Trinity at this point because it's
Oh,
5
yeah,
books, right?
for sure.
Uh yeah. So I've always liked this book. I bought a 9.6 back in the day for like $200
Mm-hmm.
and never kind of like, just kind of held on to it. Seeing this raw price, it kind of makes me want to start shopping for this book again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly surprised that the black suit stuff didn't like take off more than it did, especially with like what the second Spider-Man game. You get the symbiote in that. Um, but I mean, like, I do see a bright future for a black suit Spidey at some point in time within MCU.
Right.
Because we only got the Tobey Maguire
So let's
black suit stuff. That was
yeah,
kind of cheesy.
good points. Good points. No, I'm with you right there. I'm running parallel with yours. We'll get back to that in a second. So I want to go back to what you said. Your I guess your collage of black suit keys. So run those by us again one more time.
Oh, okay. So Amazing Spider-Man 252, ASM 300, Secret Wars 8, Marvel Team Up 141, Spectacular Spider-Man 90.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't. Oh, and I guess to a weaker extent, Web of Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, Web of Spider-Man 1. And there's actually a lot of good, and then you could open it up to a lot of cool covers, even in Spectacular and in Web of Spider-Man.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking of just like the first times you see it in those titles as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially since like what Spectacular Spider-Man 90, Team Up 141, and the Secret Wars 8. Weren't those all released within the same amount of time, or same time, or same week or month or whatever?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. This book predates the Spectacular Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 90 and Marvel Team Up 141 by 2 weeks. So this would be the official first. In comic books, I believe there was like a Marvel Age or maybe like a preview.
Oh yeah, the Marvel Age 90 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That was a little bit before that. But yeah, I mean, it's a great topic. I love this book. There is honestly though, it's hard for me not to shop for a Canadian price variant. Every time I look for this book online, I'm looking for that 75-cent price tag. Like hoping I could find a high grade one for a good price if somebody marks it and finds it out, or if there's some kind of big vendor or retailer is just pushing out books, they just don't care and they miss it or whatever. I definitely I've owned this book twice and I flipped this book at their peaks. Now I want it back. Definitely would be looking for a newsstand, probably, and as you guys know, newsstands are going to be asking for a premium. I believe this book also comes in a Mark Jewelers as well. This is an exciting book, and I'm really glad. In a sense, I'm not glad for the people that have lost value. I feel you on that, but I am happy that this is down because I am going to be looking for this book forthwith. So
yeah,
but
all the books I sold was Secret Wars 8. I was big on that book for a while, and I want a copy back again. Not like a version like I had where I had a copy that was 3 times signed, 2 times remarked. It had a Zek and it had a John. Is it Beatty or Betty?
I think it's Beatty, right? I thought it was Beatty.
Yeah. So, anyways, like I had them both. I had John and Mike both had a sketch on a Secret Wars 8 that was in a 9.6, and I sold it. I would like a Secret Wars again, but not with all that dress up again. It was, for me, it was more fun of the journey to get all those signatures and sketch and remarks than it was than to do it, than to have to do that again.
I feel you. Hey, not to interrupt Aaron. He's given us some real good information today. He's on a good one. I love it. Want to welcome everybody from our brother show, Aaron and I's, Bryan McClay's Beyond Wednesdays YouTube channel. You guys were probably enjoying the awesome industry show. He had an awesome guest, JTC, aka John Tyler Christopher, on there, and of course Dennis and Jesse James Collington, hosted by Bryan McClay. He says, much love, guys. He went ahead and pushed over his subscribers and or viewers to our show, so we really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Love you too. Thank you so much, and welcome everybody from Beyond Wednesdays. This is By the Dip, episode number 20.1. We're on the number 5 book of Aaron and I's list, about halfway through. So Hope you enjoy it. Let's go back into the chat and say hi to Creed. What up, Creed? Welcome. He says, yo. And then Igor, of course, says he went ahead and he reiterated Bryan by giving us also the heads up that the raid is here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Northwest is in the house. Says sup form from Wednesdays. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Igor says Bryan just send all of us over as their show ended. Well, yeah, Bryan's the best. Bryan's the best. He's like I always say he's my older, younger brother. So he's younger than me, but I look up to him like he's my older brother. He's a really good guy, and he's taught me a really lot about all the stuff we're doing. So thank you, Bryan. Appreciate you. And then Three Rivers in the house says McClay sent me. Appreciate you, Three Rivers. Thank you again, Bryan. And then Ryan's in the house. What up, man? He says, "Oh, I have a newsstand 252. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Good book. Good book. All right,
Yeah, I
let's
can't
move.
remember.
Sorry,
I can't remember.
brother.
I have a director newsstand on this. I need to go check.
I'll take either one. I'm looking for the news. Well, like I said before, I'm looking for the 75-cent price tag for the Canadian price variant. Or if I do see a high grade 60-cent copy, I will ask a seller, hey, can you give me a picture from the top? If they don't market a news, Mark Jewelers or what have you, typically that's very rare that happens, but it's happened before. And I've found a Mark Jewelers, and I decided I was going to buy it for that much, but I felt so bad. So I told the guy, okay, guy, you have a Mark Jewelers insert copy, and this book is worth a lot more. I've actually done that multiple times and was honest with the guy. And I've gotten so many thank yous for it. And of course, I've gotten that 1 out of 10 people that are like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, screw you, like,
It's
but
like,
anyway,
okay, then I'll buy it.
yeah, basically, I usually just move on that, but we're still on this book. I'm getting comments in here. Let's go ahead and cover them before we move on to the next. Steve Schuss, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us again. Always has good comments. He says, I bought my 252 for $12 when I was a kid. It was the most expensive book I ever bought at the time. Dealer wanted 20 for it. I only had 12 left at the con, and he took it. Lol. All right, man. That's a great story, dude. That's a great story, man. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yeah. Before we move on, Aaron, yeah, you brought up some really good points, and I honestly think just based on precedent alone on how popular this book is, how desirable this book is, peaks and valleys regardless of live action or not. But I mean, I really think that once Secret Wars happens and we start getting those Easter egg callbacks and we start getting some confirmed news, this book could be unattainable at one point. And I think at 134 for a high grade copy of this book it's a good buy. But on the other hand, though, I want to add to that, there are a lot of copies of this book out there. So they'll make sure that, if you're going to get that high grade newsstand, make sure you're looking for that 75-cent price tag. That's your Canadian price variant. So anything else you have about this book here?
One last thing. This book will always be liquid, in my opinion, no matter what.
Good point. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. All right, let's move on to number 4. All right, we're looking at a fun one. Star Wars, Kanan. This is Kanan, the Last Padawan, issue number 1. This is the 1 in 15 animation variant. We're looking at CGC 9/8 of this awesome cover, sought after cover. Not a lot of high grade copies. I see tons of spine ticks on raw copies always. I'll be honest with you, tough book in high grade. Aaron's probably he's probably looking out the data right now, pulling from the census. As you guys know, first appearance of Kanan, first cameo of Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren and Hera. This book in this grade is CGC 9/8. This time last year, so April 2023, on the 6-month average, $222 even. There was a few highs that were close to around $300. Now we go into, let's see here, March and April of 2024. I found 3 sales and not a lot of sales before that. Average fair market value now, $129, with 2 recent sales within the last 2 weeks of $125 and $128 and change. Aaron, is it the time to make a move on this book?
Oh, yeah, easily. Like, I mean, so far what we've seen in Ahsoka, like you know exactly that they're gonna keep on expanding on the Rebels. So it would not surprise me at all. As far as the debate goes of what Sabine wait, it's Sabine Wren's first appearances in, like
Mm-hmm.
if it's in this book,
Or
the
six,
Lego or
or
six,
the
or the
Lego book.
Lego book
Yeah,
before that predates, or the other book that predates it, or the book that predates that book. Like I don't know, like I don't know about all that hoo-ha argument stuff. Like I make it easy for us, like decide between one or six. But I mean
right, right.
but if anything, like have both, like for for when the market like ramps up again on this book and the excitement. um but yeah, see, I mean, like it's already starting in our chat, right? I thought
Yeah, so Jordan
it
A. Hey, yeah, thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. He says I thought issue 6 was first appearance. Yes. So that's exactly what Aaron's talking about. So there's a debate between this issue 1 and 6 because you get the one panel cameo here of all of them, and then 6 you get the full introduction. Yeah, it's for a long time. I got back into comic collecting in 2016, and everybody thought that this was the book. Always this is the book, not this 1 in 15. I'm just talking about this issue. Okay. And then once speculating got even more popular and bigger, 2018, key collectors starts, going, CBS size banging, all these speculators are now writing on the internet, stuff like that. All of a sudden, issue 6 comes into play, and it's become a debate. And now it's one of those convoluted things and I'm gonna follow up by a question, Aaron. Do you think that's maybe holding 1 and maybe 6 from becoming just monster books because of all this convoluted,
oh
okay,
well
this
oh with the Rebels first appearances actually is, I mean, no, I, I think it's like the people um that grew up on Rebels are just now getting that type of money where they can just like, you know, blow on collectibles that they like or whatever. So
right.
I don't think it's hit that nostalgia yet for them, especially since it's just now hitting live action. Um, you know, it once they start expanding on more of the Ezra story, on
Mhm.
any of the Rebels, like I think we'll start to see a little bit more increases again.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ken on base, what up, man? Ken on base says, "Hey guys, also the Scotty, meaning Scotty Young, is pretty fun too." Yeah, that's actually a percentile qualifier, aka unlocked variant, and I love that cover. So good call on that one. Jordan A continues, says, "Do you think the price is down on issue 1? Not the variant, but just talking about the issue because of issue 6," which is actually a good question. Because I would say once 6 came to the forefront of that debate, and what was that, like 2018, 19, when people were just kind of really starting to dig into 6, before the pandemic, into the pandemic. Um, I definitely think it definitely affected the price of 1, but I can tell you this much: when Ahsoka and the Rebels and these names start popping up, I've seen both issues, 1 and 6, bump up, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say a little bit, but they both are definitely peaks and valleys, volatile with the market, depending on if these characters are talked about. Now we do have Ahsoka that happened last year. Ahsoka's coming back supposedly. So yeah, like Aaron was saying, once they dig into the Ezra Bridger's story, this could make this bump. I'm sure 6 is going to bump, probably more. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, usually what I've seen, the volatility is based on every time there's a lull in these characters, these book drops, both of them, 1 and 6. And then when there's when they talk about these characters, or there's a trailer or anything like that, you get the bump, both 1 and 6. So yeah, Comics says, "You think Freddie Prinze plays him in live action?" Maybe. So yeah, I like this one, Aaron. I think this is a good buy right now. I think 125 for this awesome 1 in 15. That's a tough book. Did you get a chance to pull up that data from the census?
Yeah, so there for the Rebels variant cover, there is a total of 286 graded. There's 109 eights right now for just a blue label.
For the 1 in 15?
Yeah, this is the Rebels variant cover, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now let me ask you, does it say the second print on there? That black cover? I love that cover.
Let's see. It has the sketch edition. There is 165 total graded, 90 blue label, 9/8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's not that many. Not that many.
Well, that's a sketch edition. It does list the second print.
Yeah, the black cover, the second print black. Yeah.
Second printing, there is a total of 248 graded.
Oh
Blue
wow,
labels.
that's actually a lot higher than I thought. Okay.
149 eighths.
That's a tough book. That second print, but I like this cover. I mean, honestly, if I had a choice, I would prefer this cover over on issue 1. Talking issue 1, and then my second choice would be the second print, and then I would go into the Scotty Young. What about you?
I like the A cover. Especially since like later in the run they do that homage to issue 1 with, I think it's like issue 12 or 10. I can't remember.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Three Rivers says the girl who played Sabine Wren was at Steel City Con. Justin Shannon met her, said she was great. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Three Rivers. Appreciate you, brother. That's a cool story. Fedora, what up, man? He said he says, I think the price is down because there's too many Star Wars characters to spec on. It's honestly ridiculous the amount of characters that get created. Yeah, I mean,
we were saying that earlier.
Good call on that, Fedora. If you guys are not aware, Fedora is a co-host on our buddy's channel, Furrbird the Nerd. He does a show with Furry. I believe they do it like every Sunday. They talk about other collectibles like sneakers. They talk about baseball, minor league prospects. They talk about video games, spec, comic books. So check him out. Fedora's a good guy. I appreciate the comment, Fedora. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mojo Quit says Freddie Prinze already said he's fine playing Kanan. He won't come back to the character.
He's done playing.
Okay, he's done playing. Gotcha. Okay. And then it's, what is that word? Brevidor? He doesn't want to take away from the impact of his death. Okay. So he won't come back to the character. He doesn't want to take back from the impact of his death. Okay, got it. Yeah, okay. I think I have it. I don't recognize the word, so I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Oh,
and then he's correcting it. Okay. Said he's done playing Kanan. Okay. He meant to say because. Got it. Yeah, you know all these Star Wars names, man. Yeah, I was like, is he throwing a curveball like a new Padawan we didn't know about?
Brutavar.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to get to the chat, you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're working hard over here. We hope you like the rest of the show. Let's get into number 3. We're looking at, and this one's for Aaron, by the way. Easy. Something is killing the children. This is issue number 11. This is the 1 in 100 Department of Truth homage. Boom Studios. Everybody knows this book that was collecting then. Something is killing the children was at its was hottest book on earth at that point. You also have, it's a key issue besides the fact it's got the awesome cover art. First full appearance of the old dragon, the head of the Order of St. George. Very important book in the guts and just an awesome cover all around. Very sought after, very desirable by me especially. January 2023, we're looking through close to the end of May, so not a quite 5 month, but about the middle of May of 2023, raw copies of this beautiful homage to Department of Truth, near mint, minus or better, averaged out at about $263. And there were sales, Aaron, I saw multiple sales above $300 for this book. and we go into the last I would say 60 days. I would say more like 30 to 40 days. We're looking at same raw copies, near mint minus or better high grade copies. Average fair market value now $163. It's been reduced by at least $100+. My first question is is this a good time in your opinion to really consider, or do you see this dropping down, or do you just see maybe this is just a temporary lull for this book?
I could see it probably decreasing a little bit more unless we hear of something a little bit more solid. I mean, I know the series just started back up again with this next story arc.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for readers, like, it's going to be always a all-time high or whatever. But I mean, I did notice something with this book. Like, I want to say it was either last year or the year before, on one of the valleys for this book, or on when you're
Peeps.
buying on the dip,
Oh, buying on
right?
the dip. Yep.
Yep. I saw a store like they had a bunch of these on their website, and I looked into it a little bit more, and they did have a store variant for this issue.
Didn't know that.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so they had, I want to say they had copies either at $100 or 150, somewhere around there. I remember seeing I remember seeing I sent in the link to Remo. I did, so because I know he's been looking for this book as well.
Bring him on. Send him the link. You want to jump on, Remo?
Oh no, he's just yelling because, like,
Oh, okay. Okay.
hey,
Oh.
I didn't say the store. I didn't say which store it was, but it's probably not a hard Google search either. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Remo, if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome, brother.
Yeah, I
You're one
can
of us.
send him a link too as well.
Definitely family. Remo's a great guy. Great guy. Yeah. I mean, this hit me by surprise today too. I haven't really thought about. I think me and you talked about this book briefly. Like we were talking about another Something's Killing Children book. I can't remember, or maybe it was no. We were talking about the Department of Truth, and I believe this came up somehow. I can't remember, but yeah, I was actually shocked when I saw the dip on this one. Fedora Kong says 100 to 150 is still too expensive in my opinion. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, he's not a buyer until it gets down to that 150 or lower threshold. Yeah, I mean, this is one you definitely want to put on your watch list. I mean, it's already dropped $100 and we're past pandemic prices. So we're officially back into the norm, so to speak. But yeah,
But
I'll be watching
the
this
book
one close.
the book that's probably cheaper right now is
Yeah,
probably the Department of Truth 1 in 100 for issue 1. Uh, I I'm only assuming that just because of, like, prices that we've seen for Department of Truth been
gotcha.
super
Yeah,
down anyways,
yeah,
and both these books were released around the same time period anyways, right?
yeah.
Because I mean that's the height of Tinian, right? He's gonna launch a new title, you know.
Bryan from Beyond Wednesday says, "Do you guys think Something's Killing the Children is a good enough story?" I've read all the way through 16. I've read 16, but I stopped at 16. Yes, I think it's a phenomenal story. I love it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do it because it is pretty gruesome. But it gives you kind of, when you're reading it kind of gives you that feeling of like the way the panels are drawn. It kind of gives you that feeling of like, wow, this could be animation or live action, but how would they do it? Because it's going to be pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
What do you think, Aaron?
I personally like this storyline. It's one of the better stuff, or one of the better indie reads, or just like overall reads I've read in a while. I have a few issues to catch up on, to be caught up, but and I think I'm a little bit later than you. Like, I think I'm up to issue like 25 or 26 is
Yeah,
where I stopped at.
I figured you'd be later than me, and I was asking, have you read any of the House of Slaughter stuff? Thank you, Spider Guy Murph,
I
for bringing that up.
I've read up to like issue 12 or 15 of House of Slaughter.
Mhm.
I've read it. Yeah, that I because every 5 issues is a different story arc about a different color bandana.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like in the first 5 issues is about the white bandanas, and then it goes into the blue, and then it goes into the red, and so you find out more about how the whole overall organization works for
Yeah.
monster hunting. So
Yeah, that's pretty badass. That's pretty badass.
yeah, so I mean, like, I like the world building that they're doing. That
Yeah.
you know, it kind of has like that cult feeling to it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I don't know. I think it just I think it's growing
When you say cult
a
filling, not to interrupt you, but you mean like that pop culture kind of following?
oh no, I was
Or are you talking about
I-
the actual story in itself? How
like
this
the
Order of
story
St. George is actually like a cult.
a cult, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. And then but I think it's building a cult following within pop
Okay,
culture
so
and
both.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. So it's really both. Yeah, in honest,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think
Interesting.
it's yeah. So I think the story is strong enough, just to hold within itself as just being a good story. As a, I think some of these earlier issues, will always retain a price to it because of just rarity factor that that it had a natural build up to it, that it wasn't just like dumped onto your laps. Like every store knew about issue 1 to order 1,000 copies of
Gotcha.
it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that it had.
It's kind of how Beneath the Trees is. It's similar. Yeah,
It's I agree with
in a
that
good
statement.
way, right?
Right, that it has a natural build up to it, that it wasn't just
Exactly.
like that it wasn't just like pumped by the publisher for all the retailers to carry,
Yeah.
and then there's it has that initial hit, but then it kind of just fizzles out, right?
I'm trying to think
uh
of a book of an example. I want to
but
say,
but you also don't see very often like something that's slated to be a mini series, like only
Mhm.
a 5-issue mini series,
Yeah.
turning into ongoing series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good
Like how
point.
often do you see that happen?
Jordan A says, didn't these tease? I'm sorry. Jordan A says, didn't they tease the Green Mask story during C2E2 question mark? Or was that just wishful thinking? I didn't hear
Oh,
anything about that.
I don't know about that. I need to
Thank you for that, Jordan. Appreciate it. Mojo Quid says, I feel like Book of Butcher is gonna be a good one. Interesting. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I know a lot of people are, whoever shows up first in the book, cameo, first full. I'm not here to get into that. Whatever is your forte is your forte. But I think this old dragon character is pretty badass, to be honest with you. I love that cover 16 when he has the mask thing.
like the gold mask. And
Oh yeah, so badass. I
it's
love that
so
cover.
funny that he's like addicted to gummy worms.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if they do this story, he's got to be a part of it. So
Oh yeah, easily.
yeah, yeah. So let's take another question or comment. Jordan A says, I think it was just the crowd asking Tiny in to make a story about it. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So you were there, Jordan? Awesome, man. Awesome. That's cool, man. That's a good story. Thank you for the info. That's awesome. Anything else you wanted to add, Aaron?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, let's move on to number 2. We're looking at Infinity Crisis issue number 5. This is the Jim Lee regular cover. We're looking at this book in a CGC 9.8 for the direct edition, not the newsstand. There are newsstands available. If you're not aware, I will remind this is the first Jamie Reyes as Blue Beetle. So he actually shows up in, what is it, Aaron? Issue 3 as Jamie Reyes, right? And then he becomes Blue Beetle in 5. And for a long time, I felt like that it was another kind of situation where it was like where we talked about in another episode where you say, hey, do we want the actual character or do we want the alter ego human?
Right.
Because 3 was, 3 had made the hot list a few times. I know this book made the hot list a few times. And when I dug down deep into the data. April 2023, I could go so far. But let's just say April 2023. So this time last year into May, solid $317 for this book in a CGC 9.8. Okay. Now we come a year later on a 30 to 45 day average fair market value now $100 for this book in a CGC 9.8. I understand the movie came out last year, so a lot of that bump was from that promotion. But before the movie came back, I could see the spec mature. I could see the days before when all the rumors and all the Easter eggs and tweets and confirm information. I could see all the numbers when it would boom, boom, boom. And this book has always been a high book. Now it's very affordable. I really like this movie, but I don't know what's going to happen with James Gunn and the new DCU or the DCU. But I just don't see them not bringing this character back. I thought this movie was awesome. I thought this character was awesome. I thought the kid that is in Karate, or not Karate Kid, what is it, Aaron? Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Yeah, that kid plays Jamie Reyes, Blue Beetle in the movie. I thought it was just a fabulous movie all the way through. I've seen it 3 times already. I think it would be a big time mistake not bringing this character back. Aaron, you mentioned the movie a little bit. We were talking backstage, and before I asked you if you like this book or not, tell everybody the story, what you're telling me about the Ant-Man thing.
Oh, yeah. So there was it was either an Instagram reel or a YouTube video where someone compares this film, like the Blue Beetle film, to the first Ant-Man film. And if you think about it a little bit longer, the plot's exactly the same. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed both movies on their own right. I thought the character that played is it Jamie or is it Jaime Reyes?
I believe it's Jaime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Jaime. It's Jaime.
Okay, and then but yeah, the actor that played Jaime Reyes, he did really well.
Yeah, awesome.
So I mean, I don't think it'll get a sequel, like a Blue Beetle 2 or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see the character being used in a team up movie of some sort.
Yeah, I could see that too. It kind of surprised me. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. It actually kind of surprised me that they did a standalone movie with Blue Beetle from the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, it was. I don't think it was.
They did a good job, though.
They did a good job. I don't because I don't think they were expecting it to be a theater release, and then it was a straight to stream. It was what it was originally slated for, right?
Right.
But then it got bumped up to being that to a movie release, which I think overall that was probably the right decision to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, they could have advertised it a little bit more, I think, to really push it over the edge.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the way they also the artistic part of the way they explained their culture, how they really dug into his family, and I thought that was really interesting, really cool. I want to go ahead and address one of the comments. Smokey Collect says hype spec pandemic prices. Yes, there was I didn't go back to the pandemic, but I just tell you what, we're looking at April 2023. So I believe we're past the pandemic there. And I saw tons of sales of this book. So it had to be somewhere where this book was either getting some kind of teaser trailer or it was the release date of this book. But even before the movie was out, after the pandemic, still in 2023, towards the end of the pandemic, this book was still really expensive, and now it's at an all-time low. I just want to know if this character's coming back or not. Has anybody heard anything? I really like the character.
I think it's still too early for DC EU or whatever it's called now, to really decide what they're going to be, right?
There you go, Aaron, right there. So Jordan A says, I read they didn't advertise much because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. So
that's I forgot about that. that they had so many rules that like if you're an actor in this movie, you can't advertise this on your Instagram, stuff like that.
Interesting.
That's,
Okay. I
yeah.
didn't know
Or
that.
like if you get asked about it in an interview, you can't really answer the questions or whatever because you're a part of SAG.
I want to let you guys know. So I did see some recent sales in the last 30 days for $90 of this book. And then I did see some sales around like 120. Honestly, $90. I think I'm a buyer of this book. But I'm treading carefully or treading lightly. So meaning that my ears to the ground. I don't know if I'm exactly going to go through with that transaction. I'm probably going to try to negotiate or maybe just keep it on my watch list and see if it drops a little bit. Because honestly, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if anything's going on with this character. I haven't heard anything. And I could see this book going down a little bit lower, but it could be completely wrong. And who knows? We could hear something tomorrow and the thing skyrockets. But yeah, I would keep my eye to the ground. I think this is a cool book. And there are newsstand copies. And isn't there a variant for this, like a incentive or something? Like a 1 in 10 or maybe an open to order variant. I saw a lot of those sales too that were popping up when I put in the data. Nova J says he's coming back in the team up for the new big bad beetle boards. Okay, all right, good. Nova J, appreciate you. Congratulations again. Nova J won our giveaway a couple weeks ago. I just finally got their shipping labels processed and got them their tracking numbers dropped off their items today. So they'll be getting their stuff pretty soon. So thank you for the comment. Tom says Gunn said he's part of the universe. Okay, the DCU. That's really interesting. Thank you for that's cool. All right, I'm stoked. Fedora goes, he continues, says this book should be $50, but James said he was keeping Blue Beetle, I'm sure. Okay, cool. And wow, that's aggressive. $50. Okay. And he says James was keeping Blue Beetle, I'm sure. Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you for that, man. A lot of good information coming in. Wilbert says Gunn claimed Blue Beetle was the first DCU film, but that dude says a lot of stuff that doesn't pan out. So what I understood about the DCU, so the new DCU was the last DCEU film was Aquaman 2. That's what I understand it. That's what I said. I don't know which one came out first, this book, I'm sorry, this movie or the Blue Beetle movie or Aquaman 2. I can't recall offhand, but that's what I read online. And also it's actually in Wikipedia, but you got to take that shit with a grain of salt. Smokey Collect says it was push heavy during near ending Pandy. A lot of people FOMO'd. Don't know if he's part of the Gunn's characters he's going to use. Feels like it would be smart to use him. Yeah, totally agree. Good, great info. Yeah, great info. I agree with you on that. Nova J says just playing. Hell yeah, baby. Thanks, man. Yeah, awesome. Smoke Click says never mind. Now we know. Cree says that was a joke that I got. All right. And Smokey is lolling. So there's an awesome live chat, just chopping it up, giving us good info and joking around. Love it. Kanan Bear says Jim Lee DC is just very underrated. What's up, brother?
All right. Release date for Blue Beetle was August of 2023. Okay. Aquaman was December of 2023.
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm right, if what I read was legit, that Aquaman 2 was the last film of DCEU, then everything after that is DCU. And if I'm wrong, and it ends up being this one, then that means Aquaman would be the start of DCU. Or maybe this is the starter. I don't know, but we'll see. What I've read is that Aquaman 2 was the last DCEU movie before the DC.
Well, maybe once a start and then once a conclusion, like to just to like start. But it's gonna confuse people no matter what.
Yeah. I love that everybody's into the universes like I am, the continuities. I don't think Aaron gives a shit, but I love it. I'm a weirdo like that. I love it. Spidey Guy Murph says Beetleborgs versus Power Rangers versus TMNT coming soon to a theater nowhere. Interesting. And then Nova J says, "Ha, Spider Guy. We see what you did there. Gotcha. All right. Anything you wanted to add about this book or anything? Or are we good to go?
We're good to go.
All right. So we're going to get into the number one book for By the Dip episode 20.1. Thank you guys for joining us. We have 54 live viewers right now. Thank you again to the Beyond Wednesdays YouTube channel and Bryan McClay. Thank you guys. Jesse James Comics, Wonder World Comics, Dennis. Thank you guys for pushing over these awesome live chatters and viewers. Let's get into the number one book before we get into pickups. The number one book of this episode. We're looking at Usagi Yojimbo, issue number 20. This is the Hervus 1 in 10 in a CGC 9/8. This book dropped during the pandemic, right smack in the middle. But there was some cool stuff going on about this book. Not only an awesome cover, but also you got the first appearance of Yukichi Yamamoto, which is a cool new character. He was on the front of cover A and also on the front of the second print, the cover, which I'll show you after we analyze this book. But this beautiful 1 in 10 instead of those highly sought after, very desirable, very popular book at one time. We're looking at January 2023 through March of 2023. After the pandemic, this book had a pretty solid average fair market value of $140 in a CGC 9/8. We go into about a year and about a month to 3 months later, February. I'm sorry, it's supposed to say 2024. I didn't change the threes. It's supposed to say February 2024 through April of 2024. The fair market value is now $67 for this book in a CGC 9/8. There was 3 sales of this book, including a really low sale. It sold for $43 GBR, which is like, is that pounds or what is it equivalated to $49 US, and it was just recent. It was within the last 2 to 4 weeks, I want to say. That just really put this value on the bottom of the, I guess say hit its floor, so to speak, for lack of a better term. Aaron, I know you're a Usagi fan. I know you're a Stan Sakai fan. It's a no-brainer to me that this is a great buying opportunity for this book. What do you think about this?
Oh, I completely agree with that statement. Sorry about my dog.
No worries.
Anyways, I do like this book for a number of reasons, especially during this particular part of the Usagi run. All these retailer incentives were also qualifiers. So, in order to qualify to get issue 20 as a retailer incentive, you had to have ordered enough copies of issue 19, which I think was just like the retailer incentive for that issue, so like 10 issues or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a incentive and a qualifier, incentive qualifier.
Your dog's cool.
That.
Your dog's cool.
I have two dogs barking right now.
You're battling. I love it, baby. I love it. Yeah. He's true professional. Yeah. He actually brought up a really good point we were talking about. So what he's saying is that to put kind of to put it in a nutshell, on some of these issues, when did it start, Aaron? First of all, so it was a retailer unlock. So to qualify for a 1 in 10 for the next issue. So in this specific issue 20, you would have to at least order 10 copies of issue 19 just so you were able to order 10 copies of issue 20. Correct?
Yeah. I want to say it was like it started like 14 or 15 or something like that. Maybe a little bit later, but I know it was already into effect by issue 20. But there's also like some really cool art happening to these Usagi covers at this time period too, right? All these 1 in 10 artists weren't traditional comic book artists. They were just artists that were known for doing bunny art.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So if you kind of look at all the retailer incentives during this time period, like you can see why these covers look so radically different compared to your traditional comic book cover.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. I think it was like because I have when all those crazy, I mean, they're always good covers, but like when all those crazy 1 in 10s came out, when they started using, like Aaron was saying, they weren't typical comic book artists. They were actually artists, just all types of artists, different genres that specialize in drawing bunnies and rabbits. And yeah, there was one that I actually talked to via DM and stuff like that. But yeah, I love this book. I think it's a beautiful 1 in 10. I think that character is so cool. Yukichi Yamamoto. He is on the cover A. You guys probably recognize this one if you don't recognize the 1 in 10. And then this one was actually pretty popular. I mean, raw copies were selling up to $20 at one point. I remember because I pre-ordered 10 of these second print copies where he's on the cover. And I wanted to show you a March 1st recent sale of $38 for a 9.8. And but there is a store variant. I did see on cover price. I did see a store variant. It was this book, and it was exact cover, but it was a virgin. But I mean, I don't imagine there'd be that many unless it was like ended up being some 3,000 to 4,500 kind of deal. So I guess you'd
But
fall
it's
back on the cover A or the 1 in 10, right?
yeah. I mean, but it's IDW as well,
Yeah.
so I don't think they have that minimum threshold like Marvel or DC. The other later printing cover I like a lot is the there's a homage to Albedo 2 that
Did it? Let me see if I
that's
pulled it up.
Stan Sakai
Nope,
did.
I didn't pull that. Okay, I have to check that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So it's from his store. So if you see the Dogu,
Mhm.
Dogu,
Gotcha.
that's Stan Sakai.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, both Aaron and I we're big Stan Sakai fans. I don't have the knowledge or the collection that Aaron. I wouldn't say probably, but I know he does. But
I
yeah,
stashed them away.
I have to just reiterate back to my original statement. I think $67 for a CGC 90, and like I said, very recent a sale for. I want to say it's an auction. I don't want to get your hopes up. It wasn't a BN or BO. Buy it now or best offer, but it was 42 to $44 GBR, which came out to like $49 US, whatever that equation is. I think this is a great time to jump on this book in a CGC 90. It's not like you're going to read this book anyways, unless you're going to try to CPR it and go for the 9.9. But Wednesday, beyond Wednesdays, Bryan. Thank you, Bryan, for joining. Staying with us, man. Bryan is the. I used to say this on Flipside all the time. I know he probably got sick of me saying this. Bryan is the hardest working guy on YouTube. The guy just puts in a lot of time doing this stuff. He loves it. He genuinely loves it. He just brings on such a good vibe. Good guy to be around. And I'll tell you what, his channel is kicking ass right now. He says, hit that like button. I was like number 27. What is your like number? Thank you, Bryan, for that. Appreciate that. Jordan A says he sells on eBay Live. Okay. He's talking about Stan Sakai. Yes. Have you been to one of Stan Sakai's eBay live sales, Aaron?
I have not, but I am saving up money because I know he's showing up to a Houston convention that I normally never go to. So,
Okay.
Houston's biggest comic convention, Comic Palooza, Stan Sakai is going to be there. So, I am going to try to get out of work on that Friday earlier to. I mean, I know the con doesn't open up on Friday until late anyway, or until the evening time, anyways. So I'm gonna try to get there on that Friday to give him money and be like, draw me a commission, please. One commission, please.
Dude, you're so lucky. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Spidey Guy Murph says I was like number 3. Jeff B says great lists and show tonight, gents. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Spidey Guy Murph continues says quick note on the ASM 252. Beware of graded copies on eBay. That book was one of the more heavily compromised books, 20 plus in the CGC reholder scam, specifically Mark Jeweller's newsstand in both 9.6 and 9.8. Great information. Thank you for bringing that up, Spidey. I saw you brought it up earlier, and I was gonna planning on spotlighting your comment, but then we got into the later books and I forgot. So I'm glad you brought this up. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Texas Snake says, can you post info for that con, Aaron? So I'll remind Aaron to do that.
Let me share my screen real quick.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's gonna do it for you right now, Texas Snake.
Boom. It's called Comic Palooza. It's in Houston this year from May 24th to the 26th at the George R. Brown Convention Center.
Ooh.
You can go to the website comicpalooza.com for more info.
So that's close to you where you live, Houston?
Yeah, so it's downtown Houston.
Interesting.
So it's actually right next to Minute Maid Park, the convention center.
That's Astros place?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right on. All right. So that was the list. We're going to do pickups now. We have some really interesting pickups. You guys want to hang out for about another 10 minutes or so? We're going to start with Aaron. Aaron, what do you got for us? I know you got, let's go ahead. Solve the riddle.
All right. I have 2 cards. So yeah, the little teaser at the earlier that's gonna be like one of the later books, but I picked up another Yordan Alvarez auto card. This is from the Luminari set.
Hell yeah!
This is out of 10. I got this card for like $60. I think those are how much are those boxes? They're not cheap, but it's only like one. It's only like one card, and I think it's like $500. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds right. And that's hard to pull, Yordan.
Yeah, especially out of 10. Yordan out of 10 auto on card. Got a sticker.
Amazing. That's
this is 2022, so his second year.
So it's oversized. Is that an oversized card?
No, it's just it's one of those one touches where it comes in. But I mean, it looks thicker than normal, but not as thick as like a Inception card or a National Treasures card or anything like that. But it's way thicker than a standard card.
Ooh, like this is our guy. He's not playing well, but I mean, he's starting to pick it up again. That's Jackson Churio. So what is that? A PSA what?
This is a PSA 10. His Bowman First Chrome Sapphire.
Nice.
Or
beautiful
Sapphire edition. I did not pay sticker price. I looked up comps before buying, and I was like, hey, what's the best deal you can, or what's the best price you can do on this? And then I realized it was still a card shop that still needs to they can't just sell everything at a loss or whatever the market price turns into, that they still need to make some money to keep the lights on. And so I like to, I don't mind throwing a little bit extra towards the shop staying open.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear. All right. Let's get into the good stuff.
Comics. So I went to Free Comic Book Day. I picked up the Spider-Woman 7. They still have this on the shelf.
Beautiful.
The Todd Knock cover.
Did you get the cover A with the other?
I did have. Yeah, I got the cover A. I had that in a different pile that I need to put up. I bought these for reading. Barrel number 1.
Okay.
And then they had the Nightmare on Elm Street for issue 2.
Nice.
So I'm gonna read those. I think Bryan and I were discussing that we should probably do a review show if I'm gonna read those.
Nice.
Here's
you mean like tomorrow night or on Saturday night?
I think just in general. Yeah. I don't know. Are we gonna? I don't know. Bryan's, if he's still in the chat, let us know if we're gonna start reviewing books on Wednesdays or on Saturdays, or on both days.
Yeah, I love it. Bryan's got a little bit of extra time. If he's not doing this now, he's reading. The guy's been reading like crazy. Aaron always reads, so that would be a good show. I'd definitely watch.
10 yen. So this is a Free Comic Book Day. The world.
So was that Something Is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, that kind of deal?
I think it's just anything that's related to him. So you see Erica on there.
So Department of Truth is in there too, and
it just says it's the worlds of James Tynion.
Okay.
Different characters.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Was that one of the Free Comic Book Days that were sought after? Okay. Lord of Brooklyn says, I see Yeezy with the corporate haircut has the band sold out. Yeah, what's up?
You're trying to, like record label and stuff.
Give us an update after your pickups on the band, or you can give it to us right now if you want.
We just have a couple shows books, but I'll go over my pickups real quick before my dogs stop, keep on barking. All right, Street Fighter versus Final Fight.
Nice.
I know this is getting pretty popular. I grew up in Initial D, so I was like kind of like I had to get the comic version.
Mm-hmm.
So cool back cover too as well.
Cool.
But yeah, but it's Japanese style, so staples go on the right.
Nice. Nice.
I definitely picked up the One Piece.
Ooh.
That'll always do well. This was a pretty cool pickup. I went to a Walmart and I found this where they had the Gleason Amazing Spider-Man 55 second print 1 in 50 at the front. Like, how often do you see these at the front?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna leave this sealed because I think it's just way cooler.
Yeah.
Like to leave it sealed, like because I mean, like just think about how many people look for DCU books, right? That are still
Well, you
sealed.
can get those packs graded, right? Because you can get the 3-packs graded, right?
Can you get the 3-packs graded by who?
That's what I heard. I don't know. I want to say it was Trial by God's Nate. Somebody said that they will grade 3-packs. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. I've heard this multiple times. Maybe
I mean,
I've
this
just
is
heard
like 7-pack though. This is like 2 3-packs put
7-pack.
together.
Hey, man, they have the CGC has that big, thick slab. Maybe they have a whoever grades those has a slab that's thick like that.
Yeah, because it's like 2 3-packs sealed together with another book on top. All right. I got this in the mail. I forgot I completely forgot I ordered this. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 150. This is the 1 in 25 incentive ratio.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think I bought it blind. Is this I forgot who did this cover. I don't know.
Well, I think Sophie Campbell did all the covers, right?
I can't remember.
I know she did the 1 in 50. The sketch or whatever, where it's just kind of he's just like,
yeah. And then Eastman did like inks on it or something like that.
Yeah, and then she did cover A, and then she did the open to order too. So,
yeah. So I got I got this in. This is the art germ version of the Something is Killing the Children number 36.
Spot
this is the spot foil.
Mm.
Yeah, so instead of it looks like the one per store, right? But then like the foil tray is on here. So that's the difference between the ones. This one is limited to 400.
Ooh.
According to the art drum store. So we'll see how true that remains.
Yes.
This is the Boom Comics exclusive. I thought it was just kind of a unique cover.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it House or
it's something
no.
Yeah, where she's like leaning over.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Now I see that. I could barely see. I could just see the mask.
Yeah, I mean, because it's foil, cool. It's hard to show without glaring it out completely. Nice. I couldn't pass up on a Frizzen 1 in 50 for issue 36.
Oh yeah, nice call on that one. So the Mojo Quid is like, I think you were showing something. He's like, what? And then he's like, it's on the front? Question mark. I don't. Mojo, tell us what you were talking about. Aaron will confirm. Neither.
It's on the front. The Marvel Amazing Spider. Yeah, this is on the front.
Yeah.
It's on the front, so it's still sealed. Like I left it sealed.
Nice. That's big, dude.
It has a sticker on the front. Yeah, like I don't think I've ever seen one where it was on the front like this.
Honestly, it's like going and seeing a pack and seeing like an Ellie in the front of the pack or something.
Right, exactly. Like finding a Rat Pack, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I was teasing earlier, right? So this drawing, right? It says to enjoy, but bam, Scotty Young.
Oh. So go ahead and tell everybody.
This is the far lane, or no? Farblin, right? Because it's supposed to sound like goblin. Farlin, right? The goblin.
Yes.
It's supposed to rhyme. This is a Scotty Young cover. This was from the publisher. So, you know, I'm not going to share the link, but if you were astute like Bryan said to be by Google searching the title of the book, you could still find it instead of paying $100. I paid the $100 on eBay. No, I'm just joking. I did not. I bought it from the publisher, so that's why the creator had the drawing on the backside. Yeah, so it was really cool. You know, limited one per order, so it's like I think it was like
Kanan Base is asking if you got it from the Art Germ.
I did get it from the Art Germ website for the Something Is Killing the Children number 36. And when it says shh. But they sold out. They sold out like that Wednesday the book was released. I think when people noticed the one per store like selling like pretty rapidly, that's when Art Germ sold out.
Yeah.
And then the last book, I bought the Jenny Prison Distillery book. I forgot what the title is.
Nice.
Spectrograph number 1.
Wow.
So this is like a wraparound cover.
I'm not going to take it.
It's magazine size. It's oversized. But
pretty cool.
But the Farland book too, the Goblin, it's like square bound. It's like almost like, and but it's formatted like a child's book, right?
Oh, okay.
Instead of being like comic.
Yeah.
Well, no. Instead of like this is like the spine right here.
Is there a groove? Like if you run your fingers from the spine on the top, does it have like a groove? Kind of like a divot?
Yeah, it has that divot where it's that prestige format or whatever. But like, I just wanted to point that out for people that it doesn't you don't read it like a traditional comic. You read it like a children's book or whatever.
Dave's Collection says, I got like 50 books for free comic book day. I think I only missed 2. Interesting.
Oh, and I did get a couple of the Ultra Ducks too. I don't have them near me, but
nice. I saw your post. You and Bryan talked about it on MCM last Saturday, correct? Cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do an unboxing. I have some cards and I have a really good story to tell you guys. I was telling Aaron backstage, but I'm cutting the videos right now, so I'm gonna wait till next Monday and I'll explain it. So I'm gonna drop the videos. Make sure you're subbed up to the channel and the notifications are on. I literally opened a Panini Select Basketball hot box. It was a mega box. It was a hot box. I don't know how this happened, but yeah, you got to make sure that's on. And then I did another battle with 1 mega box, 23-24 Select Basketball versus 2 blaster boxes. I pulled 2 Wemby's there, 1 refractor and 1 base, and some other cool stuff, some number cards. But man, you got to see these 2 videos, especially the video I'm going to put on the thumbnail, SSPs and all that stuff. So you'll know. Make sure notifications are on. Okay, so I'm going to do an unboxing of comics I just got from my comic shop. I know I mentioned my comic shop a lot. It's just I really like them. They're my favorite online retailer. I don't have any association with them or anything like that. Matter of fact, they probably have my name on my picture on the wall and say underneath it probably says pain in the ass. But yeah, they're really good. I really like them a lot. They're one of my favorite shops. All right, so I got a bunch of books in here. Let me get this open. Man, they really packed them in here. All right. I love how they pack books too. They pack them so well. They use the Gemini. Nice pad, nice cardboard pad, brand new pads, no like used stuff. Right. Just nothing big. Just basically like modern books, either spec books or just books like I've always wanted, or maybe I want another copy in case the character something happens. And then there's some recent books in here, some incentives I bought specifically because I knew there'd be low print run and I kind of like the cover. Okay, so I got the Darth Maul black, white, and red one. I got the this cover, which I really like a lot. I'm
Oh,
watching.
that's a dope cover.
Yeah, I really like this. It was pretty. I was surprised I grabbed it. I don't think they have any more left, but I'm at because May the 4th be with you on Saturday, which was the same. It was such a great day on Saturday. It was Free Comic Book Day. May the 4th be with you and Kentucky Derby. I think there was a UFC on. It was just crazy. So yeah, I'm watching right now. I'm starting the whole thing over, and I'm doing the time. I'm trying to do the timeline in order. So yeah, and then I got this beautiful Blade 1 in 25 because I've been buying all the Blade 1 in 25s from I believe issue 4, I want to say, down. I have at least one. I have two copies of a few others. Just because I love Blade. I love the MCU taking the supernatural route. And plus there's just not a lot of people ordering Blade, especially on a 10th issue, 25 copies. Really nice cover art, dope cover art. Just probably not a lot of copies out there, so I grabbed this. Of course, they bagged and board this, which I thought was really cool because people are collecting these solicits now. But yeah, I grabbed one of those. I grabbed this because I like Veronica, and I have 2 copies, so I grabbed a third. This was a nicer one. They went ahead and graded it as very fine near mint. I got it for $25. I'm sure I probably could have got it lower on eBay, like 20 or 15 or 20, but I trust my comic shop grading over most eBay sellers. No offense to anybody. And Ultimate Universe 1, the second printing design I really like that new look of the Thor and the new Ultimate Universe. Grab that incentive. And then I got the 1 in 25 for Power Girl number 8. Pretty tight. Is that the balloons? The balloons? Yeah.
I gotta dip. My dog's freaking out.
Okay, cool, brother. No worries. All right, I'll see you later, brother. See you later. Yeah, so Power Girl 1 in 25, and then I got the Captain Marvel issue number 7, the 1 in 25. I think this is a Mercado. It was on the Hot 10, so I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, so that's all I got, and I think Mercado did this 1 in 25. I like it. It grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but now I do. But I really like this Power Girl 1 in 25. I think this thing's pretty sick. Yeah, and that's my pickup. So I want to show you guys these cards that I pulled out of this box. So bad, but it's okay. It's all right. No big deal. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get to the chat one more time, and then I'll say goodbye to all you guys. Ryan says, what is a hot box? Hot box is, well, Bowman actually kind of coined the phrase hot box for their blaster boxes. And if you get one, not Bowman, I'm sorry, Heritage, Topps Heritage. And if you actually get a hot box, that you get a purple refractor in each single pack. And so if there's 8 packs, you'll get 7 packs will be a purple refractor. And there's usually 1 pack that has a chrome refractor. It's usually numbered between 373 all the way up to 999. Yeah. So, and then the term has been used now for when somebody grabs a box and there's just crazy amount of hits that aren't supposed to be really rare cards. Well, I got a Panini. I call it a Panini hot box. I'm sure that's not the term, but this thing had 10 packs in it. And I mean, I pulled case hits that are supposed to be the rarest of rarest in 3 of these things in 1 box. I couldn't believe it. And these cards are going for hundreds of dollars. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. Lord of Brooklyn says, collection, did you get Flash Gordon, Street Fighter versus a Final Fight, One Piece? Okay, so he's talking to Dave. Jeff says, it's when you smoke pot in the bathroom with the hot water on blast. I love our chat. They're just chopping it up. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, the Power Girl. I like the Power Girl too. I thought it was actually pretty cool. It's definitely not her best, but I liked it. Planet Arizona Comics says, there you are. I guess I'll catch most of this on the replay. Jersey the Bay says, when you roll the windows up. Yes. And then Creed, I opened 2 Bowman blasters today. Oh, right. Did you post anything, man? Post them on your IG. Tag me, man. I'd like to see that. Cool. And then Creed says, wasted $60. Never mind. I apologize. Were they the brand? Was it the new year? Because I or the new set that just came out. I believe they dropped either today or they dropped tomorrow. 2024 set. And then Ryan says, "Yeah, man, that's sick." And then Ryan says, "Congrats on the sick box." Yeah, I'll have the videos up. I'm cutting them both right now. I should have the battle up tomorrow morning, and I'm going to try to get the second video up by tomorrow night. But it's probably I'll probably have it uploaded and on the channel by Thursday. So, all right. Dave's Clutch says, "Yes, I have them all." Cool, cool. Yeah, I was talking about Free Comic Book Day, I believe. Free Comic Book Day books. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Aaron had to bail because his dog was going nuts. I think he had to go check out the dog. So apologize for that. Usually we say goodbye to you guys, but we will be back next week. Are we going to be back next week? I think. Okay. Right now we're going to be back next week. But I have something coming up with my dad, so just make sure notifications on and all that other stuff. Plus, I'll see you guys on the Hot 10 on Friday or on Bryan's show tomorrow if I end up going there after my workout. So, all right, guys, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. And then don't forget, you can get 10% off your Gemini mailers. Popcorn 99, you'll get 10% off Gemini mailers. They also have slab mailers. There's a bonus code called it goes SSP 99, like super short print 99. You get 10% off in case this code ends up being worn out. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Have a great new comic book day. Take care. Bye-bye.